Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into two parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the luxurious, posh studios. Brought to you by Impact Power Sports. That's where you go to pick up a Yamaha golf cart, any type of ATV, UTV, motorcycle, scooter, e-bike. They've got it all. Plus a full-service department at Impact Power Sports. Outstanding. Let's see what another day brings us. Welcome to it. Just had to deal with a disturbing text message, which, by the way, I now have set a record for continuous days with the same hoodie. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I always realize it at about this exact time. Now, with a hoodie, I don't know if it's necessarily like dirty. You know, I got a shirt on underneath it. Now, of course, I slept in this shirt. So I think I'm generally pretty disgusting. The question is, have I changed my underwear? And no. So the last time I did any type of hygienic, brushing my teeth is definitely still a thing. And so that would mean that on Monday I woke up and I ended up bathing for the Grand Rapids Gold game. So clean clothes, clean body. And so there's that. But then I wake up Tuesday morning. No, everything stays the same. I wake up Wednesday morning. Everything stays the same. So that's where I am right now. I'm in kind of like this filth flux. You forget about that. And that's what Black Belt Nick says. He says the wonders of self-care when working from home. Exactly. I start to get an idea that I might need to bathe when I'm going pee-pee, and I can smell ball stank. You know, I'm like, oh, God, I smell my balls. My balls stink. Ben Glaze says hoodies are like jeans. Wear them till you absolutely need to wash them. And I've got a lot of hoodies. Yeah, I don't want to wash them if I don't have to. It's fine. It's no big deal. Becca Shea says I work from home and I always change my underwear / clothes. LOL. Yeah. I think that you're just better at this than I am. It's honestly, I do not remember it until I actually get in here. And while I look at the camera, I also look at the screen. And I'm like, oh, I'm wearing the same clothes. I don't think about it even once while I'm doing the radio show and taking care of my chores that I have here. Honest to God, from the time I get up till right now, I'm busy. I'm not just fucking around. Now, of course, you cannot smell me right now. And the way my hair is cut, it doesn't take much to make it look like it should look if I'm going out on the red carpet. It's going to look the same. It's short, it's thick, and there you go, which is the way some of you like your penis, by the way, short and thick. I don't know who would, but some of you might. Hello to each and every one of you. I see Alan is here, Chris in Buffalo, Black Belt Nick, Ashley, Hurricane Ashley is getting in the habit again of being part of the listening audience. I don't know what took place to get her. Well, I mean, I do, but I'm not saying what got her out. I know what got her out of the habit of listening, and I know why she's back in the habit. But I think it just has to do with, oh, yeah, he's there. And she's all right in my book, generally. She says she's just here for Amy. She does love Amy. There's no question. She's a lot older than you, which I never. That's one of the freaks of nature. The fact that she looks so young, and she's not. I mean, she's old as hell. She's not as old as I am, but she's over 50. I still can't believe that. That would be, and her husband is Gary, who's hysterical. I love Gary. Chris says Gigglebox is like 65 years old and she looks 29. It's entirely true. Maybe it's because she's always chuckling. She is a little spunky little Gigglebox. But yeah, I finally got to know Gary a little bit when Gary showed up at the arcade at Pinball Land. And he's awesome. I'm like, what has taken these significant others so long to get on board with what's going on here? I mean, my God. Bread Bull Brain Chris says that is what it is. No frown lines. I've never heard of that. Branjo says, speaking of chuckling, I was listening to you and Ben on Who Are These Free Beers. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, I posted that this morning. I wasn't able to get the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast posted, but that is on the table for that will happen today. Which, that was a great one, too. We had an appearance by, I'm not kidding you, one of our audience members is actually, since he started listening to Where We Are Now, his star power, his Q rating has gone up considerably. And he's a guy who has his hands in so many different things. His name is John. And John is not only a mental health expert, but he's a magician. And he's a writer, and he's all sorts of shit. And he's really kind of taken off in all of these fields. He's a terrific magician, a wonderful soul. And I had all sorts of questions for him about magicians, because that's one of the things that when I start to watch Facebook, when I'm laying in bed, I've got a bunch of guys who do card tricks on there. I'm like, how the fuck are they doing that? I didn't ask him for... tell me how they're doing it, but he was extremely interesting to talk to. Becca Shea says, I enjoyed meeting Amy and Gary. Very nice people. Ashley says, my wife is forever 25, prettiest girl ever. And Ashley is not gay, but she is for Amy, I guess. I think it's Amy's bubbly personality. She's just absolutely hysterical. Love her. I don't think she's with us right this second. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, I went down a deep rabbit hole on the... I forget how to say that word. Mnemonica stack. You got to start with a very good brain to understand that stuff. Well, that means I'm out. Ashley says, I am unfortunately straight. Are you having boy trouble or something that I don't know about? I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. She says it's been a detriment my entire life. Alan says, I almost fell asleep listening to Who Are These Free Beers, and it wasn't because of EZ and Ben. Awful. Yeah, it was something else. It was something else. It was hot wings heavy because Free Beer couldn't make it in because he was stranded because of the no-fly zone over the area around Venezuela, that's some ridiculous fucking luck. My God. And Kelly had fallen ill. But I think the crew is back today and ready to go. Birch Barlow says no dancing pallbearers. What a shame. Precisely. I was hoping for lucky sevens. Did not get lucky sevens. So no official dancing pallbearers. I got some disturbing news this morning. I was seated here doing the radio show, and I got a text. And Pooh Bear said, she works in a school. She says, we are on lockdown. Oh, boy. So there's a period of time today when she and all of her cohorts and all of the young people, and she said they were on lockdown and nobody knew why at the time. That's quite disconcerting. Now it's fine. The lockdown has been lifted. I don't want to stretch this out longer than I need to with you wondering what the hell's going on. But you have that period of time where you're like, oh, my God, what is going on? And I'm not exactly sure, but I know that in the local news there was a story, an incident where near where that school is, there was a shooting. And for a period of time, and I guess I don't know if they've apprehended the person. I'm assuming they have. The person who was involved in that was not accounted for. So, not sure what was going on, but they and I've never been involved in a lockdown. But I'm guessing there's a protocol, and you say something, and I don't know if it's as simple as just hitting the PA button inside of it. Everybody lock it down, and you just shut the doors. I've been in this school many times, and the doors are they're like super doors. When those doors are closed and you got the steel jams and there's no getting in, really. I'm thankful for that. Once that door is closed and it's locked, it would take a bazooka to get in. But still, there's always that. You never know. It can't always be where the students are all in the classrooms. It could happen. When the people are roaming the halls, you never that's how a lot of these fucking things happen. Bread Bull Brain Chris is here. He says, this happened across the street from my buddy's house. Shooter still on the loose. No threat to public, apparently. I don't know how that could be. I don't know how that could be no threat to the public. But if they say so, all right. Apparently a big threat to the public was this chick not far from where we are here. Okay, so the U.S. sneaks into Venezuela, blows some shit up, snags the president, and his wife of Venezuela, and now he's going to face charges. So that's a huge story. And right away, the local hippies made their signs that said, hands off Venezuela. Free the Venezuelan people and leave Venezuelan oil alone. Now, a lot of people assume that the U.S. invaded Venezuela for oil. And I understand that. And I don't know. I have no idea what's up, what's down. I know that the U.S. has said, Trump specifically has said, we did this because we wanted to end the threat of narco-terrorism from Venezuela. because of U.S. claims that Maduro is leading the largest drug cartel ever. So let's go ahead and take him out. Now, some people do believe the idea about that, that's why we did it. Now, I don't believe that. I believe we want that oil. So I kind of believe what the protesters are saying. I think when you have you can say, yeah, we're going in there to end narco-terrorism. In the meantime, you're going to take over the oil production. It's kind of like walking like a duck and talking like a duck. People say, EZ, how do you feel about that? Do you care? No, I don't. I really don't. Why? Why don't you care? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not that, maybe you're a better American than I am. I don't give a shit. Birch Barlow says, either way, who cares? We come out ahead. Kind of. I don't give a shit. And I know that the people in Venezuela, they're looking at it as, oh, this is great. I saw one image of a Venezuelan motorcycle gang that are looking for Trump supporters in Venezuela to assault them. Now, they weren't really a motorcycle gang. They were all on mopeds, and one had a gun. And it looked pretty weak. So I think that there's nothing really bad about this. You get rid of a dictator. You cut the head off of the drug cartel snake. You get to rebuild the country's infrastructure. You get free oil, and the locals are happy. So that's a win on all of those. Now, do I think that we are just going to suck all the oil out of the ground and just like Galactus eating planet Earth? No, I don't think that. I really don't. But Trump has said himself, yeah, we're keeping the oil. Now, I don't know when they're going to stop keeping the oil. Why am I bringing all this up again? This is all shit you know. Well, there's some chick in Grand Rapids who was given an interview on TV, and thank you to Becca Shea for sending this along. She's doing an interview expressing herself on TV, and the next thing you know, she is arrested. She appeared to not resist, and now it's going all around the world. Everybody's like, well, why was she arrested? So I want to get it. I want to show it to you so we can all see together what actually is happening here. Police arrest young woman in Michigan mid-interview as she speaks against U.S. military action in Venezuela.
Apply pressure at all points that we can. This is not just a foreign issue. It's our tax dollars that are also being used to commit these war crimes. It is also the duty of us, the people, to stand against.
Okay, first of all, the term war crimes. To me, when I hear war crimes, I'm picturing like Nazi Germany, Slobodan Milosevic, in the Balkan War. Those are war crimes. So I don't know if this is a war crime.
Against the Trump regime, the Trump administration, that are committing crimes both here in the U.S. and against people in Venezuela.
Now, in the background of this interview, you could see that police car. And now right here, we're showing you video we have. Immediately after the interview finished, Plichta was arrested by 2 Grand Rapids police officers. You can see it in the video, and an officer tells Plickta that she is being arrested for obstructing a roadway and failure.
She's yelling. She's saying, I'm going peacefully, which is good. She should.
To obey a lawful command from a police officer. You can see as she's taken away in that car, she was issuing a number of messages about wanting the U.S. to free Maduro. But again, she was taken away by police officers there, and you can see in this video.
Okay, now there's the video of the people that were protesting. Free Venezuela, free Maduro, which is nonsense. They don't know. Wasn't that in the Bible? They know not what they are doing. Wasn't Jesus on the cross? Didn't he say, these people don't know what they're doing? In fact, if the Venezuelans see these people, they want to kick their ass. They're like, no, don't free Maduro. You know? So, I mean, the whole protest is stupid. I think we agree with that. Everybody can be on the same page that this is a stupid protest.
Officers were closely following this procession in downtown Grand Rapids. We have reached out to GRPD for more information about the arrest, but we have not heard back so far.
I'm impressed with the quick mobilization of these hippies. They got their signs made. Everything was ready to go quite quickly. All right. Now, she was arrested for blocking the roadway and not following a lawful order. Now, I didn't see that in that video. I saw her standing on what appeared to be the sidewalk. So, I mean, there might have to be some clarification there. I'm not sure why she was actually busted. It's a little silly. But I can't, I think it went pretty well. She probably was just charged with some silly misdemeanor. And then that's the end of it. No big deal. Bread Bull Brain Chris says she was recognized from the protest, according to police. So she may have blocked the traffic at a different point, and they told her to stop, and then she didn't stop. So they kind of like waited a little. Hey, there she is, and then got her. Okay. Now, if that's the case, let's just assume that is the case. She actually did break the law. If I'm the cop, I don't want to arrest her. Okay? Because it's a pain in the ass. But if the chief says, "Hey, you got to get one of these stinky hippies and I need an arrest." Then okay, yeah, we see her. This is not a big deal. This is not a big deal at all. I have a hard time with this group who are protesting a dictator being arrested. Okay? Shut up, okay? This is not a big deal. Let him be arrested. You can't protest every fucking thing on the planet. Go be productive. Tyler says 0 protesters really know what they're protesting. They just like to be annoying. Bread Bull Brain Chris says she's a teacher, too. She's going to corrupt many minds. So what he's suggesting there is that with her slant on the world, if she's supposed to be teaching a curriculum, her personal views would slide in. I would hope that a teacher would not do that. Stick to the curriculum rather than allow personal opinions seep into what the school is supposed to be teaching. Reading, writing, arithmetic, all that shit. Whatever. Ben says they should have arrested the camera operator, too. Donut Dan says, are you freaking kidding? Have you seen a college campus? Yeah, that's true. College campuses, they, you start to get into that whole realm of creating the people like my sweet daughter with the idealistic left-leaning views of the world and forming those minds. I agree with that completely, that absolutely happens. I tell you what didn't happen is I was waiting for that to come up this past weekend when my beloved youngest daughter was there at our house to bring up. If she had said free Maduro, I would have been like, what? How is this possible? Tyler says if our forefathers could see how annoying protesters are nowadays, they would have altered the First Amendment. Donut Dan, he does not like Greta Thunberg. Where was that dipshit Greta when all this was going on? Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, she believes she's right on a lot of things, and I think that I give her benefit of the doubt. I think she actually has good intentions. She wants to help people, but I think she's going about it in a way that ends up being a hindrance. You know? Hey, this is Eric Zane, and your information is being sold online. You know, the personal stuff. Search your own name. It's surprising what's out there. That's because people are taking your information and they're selling it. I've got a way to make all of your personal information disappear. You are not for sale. Whether you agreed to it or not, that information is available for people to buy and sell. Not okay. It's 100% true. Data brokers make billions selling your private details, and you get nothing. You don't even get a choice. Aura lets you fight back. AURA. They remove your personal data from broker sites and keep it off. Aura also alerts you fast if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura is more than just data broker removal. It's a full digital security suite that protects every part of your life online. Aura gives you a VPN to stay private, antivirus to block threats, a password manager to keep logins safe, and spam call protection to cut off the scammers. Aura also scans the dark web for your most sensitive info like your social security number, bank logins, and passwords, and notifies you instantly if they are exposed. And if your identity is ever stolen, you're backed up by up to $5 million in insurance and 24/7 U.S.-based fraud support to help you recover quickly. And right now, you can try Aura free for 14 days when you visit aura.com/remove. AURA.com/remove. That's enough time for Aura to start removing your personal information from data broker sites. Sign up today at aura.com/remove and get the peace of mind that your privacy, identity, and finances are safeguarded. AURA.com/remove. Certain terms apply. See the site for details. David says young people are stupid. Well, I don't know if they're stupid. Alan says, isn't she in the clink? Bread Bull Brain Chris adds, nothing wrong with wanting world peace and freedom for everyone, but the reality of the world is far from ideal. Dan says that Greta jumps from issue to issue to get attention. Again, we can't say that. We don't know that. We do not know that. She might be the tip of the spear for all that is right. We have no idea. Anyway, last night we had this rip-roaring edition, as I indicated, of Who Are These Free Beers, and then the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast available on Patreon. You can sign up for a 7-day free membership at patreon.com/Eric Zane. patreon.com/Eric Zane. 7 days free. You can even sign up for it and then cancel it as soon as you sign up, and you still get the 7 days. It truly is a easy way to get access to what is going on Patreon without any strings attached. Now, after the 7 days, you're like, oh, I want to keep it going. You can go back in and enable your card. It's all at patreon.com/Eric Zane. I have two platforms. I have the Patreon one, which is dollars and cents. Power it, your dollars and cents. And then the free one, which is this one. But the full show, the full free show is available only on Twitch. twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Follow me on there and subscribe to the channel. For the rest of you on Kick, YouTube, and Facebook, I'm sorry, but I have to kick you out. But go to Twitch to get the rest of today's show. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Thank you. If you want to say hello, you can do it via email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That is the Shoreliners Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. I had somebody, and before I kick you all out, I had somebody reach out and actually ask me a legitimate question about my time on the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. And somebody was like, hey, I'm late to the party, and I actually have questions for Eric Zane. And wanted to know about some of the history of the show. And because a lot of people have that mixed up. So the question that was asked was, how did you get mixed up in this whole operation with them? So they were a college show, kind of like this very amateur type of broadcast arrangement. And despite being an amateur show at a college, you know what the fuck they were doing, they had somehow managed to get a significant amount of audience that were following them in Omaha, Nebraska. One of the radio companies that existed at the time in the late 90s, early 2000s was a company called Journal Broadcasting. They were on in Knoxville, Tennessee, Journal Broadcasting. I work for a different company. Journal Broadcasting was on in Knoxville, Tennessee, and in Omaha, Nebraska. They were the rivals, and they wanted Free Beer and Hot Wings out of that town. So, Journal Broadcasting in Tennessee hired them. Now, very raw show, not a lot going on, just a couple of pukers. And now they have them out of Omaha. That's good. Okay? They put them on Morning Drive in Tennessee. I get fired in favor of the John Boy and Billy show, who just retired, by the way. And it was, let's see, just a handful of days before 9/11. 9/11 was on a Tuesday, so this was on a Friday. This was September 7. I get fired. I drive over to Journal because I know the guy who runs the radio station. I go, hey, I need a gig. He was, okay. These guys, what do you think about this? I said, oh, it's ridiculously amateur. And he goes, I know, but we're stuck with him. Can you help? And I said, I don't know. I don't know if I can help. It's that bleak. He goes, well, that's all I got. I said, all right, I'll take it. So I start working with them, and that's when it all started. Now, just so happens that on Tuesday, September 11th happened, so it was baptism by fire. I showed up on the scene there, and it was very difficult because of all the things that happened September 11th related. But we were doing our thing, and the rest is, I guess, a story for another day. So I answered that question, and I even prefaced it by saying I'm probably going to get the shit beat out of me, but this is how it went. Because for some reason, people are interested in the history of how it all got started. There's all sorts of different chapters in that aren't really that interesting, honestly. But yeah, that is basically how it went. There were a couple big things that happened along the way that made syndication a reality. And one was Opie and Anthony leaving. Well, they got fucking canceled. And then the other thing was Howard Stern going to Sirius. And all of a sudden there was a void. Now, right now, there's actually a big void because of the aforementioned John Boy and Billy show getting out of the game. They retired. So now there's all sorts of radio stations that are in need of a morning show. So we'll see who fills that. This is also the time of year when mass firings happen in radio. I might get it. I don't know. You never know. But this is my second stint with iHeart, and I'm 4.5 years in on this one, which is, I had no idea it had been that long. So typically it would have been January 2nd, Friday, January 2nd, or this coming Friday, January 9, when there'll be some mass blowout. Now, I already talked to my friends at Q100, and they said that they're going to re-up. I had done a 1-year deal with them the first 2 years that I was. March will be 2 years at Q100. I'll probably still be wearing the same sweatshirt at that anniversary, not washed. And I said, yeah, let's do it. I go, do you want to do another deal? They said, yes. I go, all right. Come up with whatever you like. And if you like, please make it a multi-year. I did the first 2 years, 1 year for a reason. And I said, but you have the option if you want to do a multi-year, by all means. All right. Anyway, I'll now send you folks on your way. Head over to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live if you want the rest of the show. Twitch and Facebook brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, and EV. You can check them out now at 616-532-6600 or go to their website, ervines.com. That is ervines.com. They are awesome. I think Jackie has a car there right now. Because last time she took her car there, they said, hey, you got this issue too. Don't forget this. She said, all right, I'll get you in a couple of weeks. And now it's there. Very, very cool. Thank you to Irvine's. They service all makes and models of cars, also EVs and hybrids. ervines.com. Free loaner cars. Ask about the free loaner car. That's the best because then you don't have to worry about anybody carting you all around while your car is being repaired. Alan with a radio question. And by the way, if you ever have questions for me about anything, even if you want to be snarky and rude, ask away. I am an open book, and I love to answer questions on the chat. That's why you join me on Twitch. Alan writes, or if you have an email question, Alan writes, what happens if Freeburn Hot Wings gets lowballed or no contract renewal? All right. If they get lowballed, they will take it. I predict that. Whatever the deal is, they're going to take it. Because in particular, those two, they're older. They only have to work for a finite amount of time. So you keep the income coming to some degree. So there's that. But slowly but surely. So I predict they will get a contract. It will be low. I have no way of knowing the dollars and cents of it. But I also predict that as time goes on, some of the moving parts will fall away. So you'll lose the Tommies, you'll lose the Maitlands, you'll lose the Steves, you'll lose the Kellys. Those people will have to go away before Greg and Chris go away. Now, some of those people are paid by Greg and Chris. But make no mistake, that show's not earning money in the big grand scheme of things. If they are, it's remarkably crippling in terms of how much less it is than what it used to be. So being that less money is coming in, they might look at books and say, oh, fuck, why are we paying? We can't, okay, we don't want to go broke, so somebody's got to get fired. I mean, that's the nature of the beast. Rich says, hot take, Steve needs to stay over Kelly. Well, I want to know why you would say such a thing, because Steve is the most mundane, except for maybe Hot Wings, the most mundane, boring, ridiculous element of that show. When I was there, Steve did a remarkably good job at appearing to be busy, but struggled, I think, to actually get anything done. Rich says he has more production value. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It doesn't take a lot of production to get that show done. There's not a lot that's happening from a producing standpoint. The root word is produce, and there is no producing happening. No, he's garbage. He's always been garbage. And he's shitty. He should not be near a microphone, ever. Ever. At least she says provocative shit. You fucking dipshit. My God, you don't know what the fuck's going on. You're like that chick who's protesting free Maduro. You're worse. Amy is here. We were talking about you earlier, by the way. You'll have to go back and check it out. Okay. I'm going to take a break. You sit here and hang out with the dogs. And I will be back. Okay, I'm back. So much fun. The amount of time it took for me to go tinkle. You know, I can't just do one thing. I can't just go tinkle. And I know the EZ, did you wash your hands? No, of course not. Of course I didn't wash my hands. I didn't pee on my hands. And yes, my hand now smells like balls, but I mean, it's going to be okay. I don't have anybody to impress. Let's see here. Our beloved Megan, she had an interesting last 12 hours. I'll get to what I was going to talk about in a second. I forget the circumstances behind it, but she's taking care of someone's dog. And while she was taking care of the dog, she noticed that the dog seemed to have some issues. Turns out the dog has a urinary tract infection. So I'm doing the show with Ben Glaze yesterday, and I get a text that says, what's the name? She wanted to know the pet emergency place, so I told her. Off she went. So she joined us from the waiting room of the pet emergency clinic. And that's a tough place to be. I've been there. That's Blue Pearl. And, okay, it's her uncle's dog, and the uncle is in the hospital. So the dog, she's like, oh, there's something wrong with this dog. So she goes to get the dog treated, and everything went fine. It's expensive, you know. It's like $600 to get that done. And she said while she was there, everybody in there was like crying. Which, okay, if you go into any type of veterinary scenario and the candle's lit, bad things are happening. That means bags are packed and there's a puppy dog that is, or a cat, or whatever the hell, is going to the Rainbow Bridge at that moment. So she goes in, and they didn't even need lights on in the establishment because there's so many candles lit. Okay? There's candles everywhere. Like 700 or 800 candles are lit. And she walks in there. She's the only person that is not needing. They said, oh, welcome. Come on in. We're going to help you and your dog. And where should we put the candle that we're lighting for you? And she goes, my God, I don't need a candle. It's fine. It's fine. And they're like, oh, please. You're too bubbly and fun. Please go. You don't need a candle. You go over there. So she gets the dog treated, and so now it's been the overnight, and she says that the dog is still peeing blood. And I don't know how that happens within a urinary tract infection, but apparently it must have been pretty bad. It's going to take a bit for that to heal, the inner workings of the dog's urinary tract. But now that the dog has the medicine, it's probably at least somewhat more comfortable because it can actually pee. Now, the dog was peeing in the house. It was having trouble. So it's like squirting blood all over the place. Looked like a fucking Tarantino movie. And so she just updated me. That's the thing about Megan. You're going to get that update whether you want it or not. She said Dr. Williams there was so stinking sweet. Yep. And so good. Good on you. Good on you. And I feel bad for those poor folks whose dogs are going to the Rainbow Bridge. That's a moment you don't want to be part of that. Medicine and some canned expensive-ass food from the vet have made Lee happy this morning. Good. You've done a great thing. Okay. So I was explaining to you that I took my break over to the boys' room. And I went and actually looked at Facebook while I'm standing there. And I see there is one comment, now two, because I responded to it on the stream that was on Facebook. And then I cut it off and say, hey, go to Twitch and follow me there. So some guy picks a fight and he wrote, I don't know if he did voice to text because it says, since you like to judge people, Eric. I think he means since you like to judge people, Eric. Why don't you talk about your DUI and how have turned into a massive asshole? Okay. So obviously somebody's not happy with me. I usually just am honest with these folks, and then I don't hear from them anymore. I think that some people, when obviously this is a person that comes at me with some type of antagonism and wanting to piss me off. It never works. I don't get pissed off. I mean, what in the world do I have to be pissed off about? Absolutely nothing. Now, look, and I didn't write anything. I just stuck to I didn't even rub this guy's nose and shit. I could have. I wrote, I have never gotten a DUI. I haven't consumed alcohol in 30 years or any substances. So that I just, I don't like people saying, yeah, hey, you got to. I mean, if I left that unchecked, people might actually say, oh, did you get a DUI? Most people know me. Know that I would never, I've not fallen off the wagon. I've never had an issue with alcohol since I quit. But whatever. But concerning how I've turned into a massive asshole, honestly, I hate to use the word energy because it's so overused and Greg uses it all the time, but I only match energy. If someone comes at me antagonistically, I will always, well, not always, sometimes I let it go. Like, I'm not in the mood to fuck with this guy right now. Maybe I would if I wasn't doing the podcast. But, whatever. I would like to think that I give everybody a fair shake. But there does come a time when I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be your punching bag. I'm not going to let you fucking bully me. So, yeah, if you are going to come at me, I have several different tools in my tool chest that I utilize. Not only am I going to get my pound of flesh and feel better about myself because I've embarrassed you, I am going to take a shot at anything that I can see, that I can formulate a thought that would be also not only an insult, but excellent entertainment. I am going to use you and your ugliness to entertain people. And the people who are reading those comments, I'm consuming some of their time because they're looking at it and saying, yeah, that's fucking funny. I like that. I like that he's doing that. You know? Donut Dan says that guy must have been drunk when he wrote that. LOL. I don't know. Yeah, people all regularly try to. I mean, honestly, there is nothing that any person alive can say about me that would make me scramble or wince or like, oh no, that just got out. I do not care. I have nothing to hide, ever. Try me. Like, if someone came out and said, yeah, you know what I know about EZ? I know this, this, and this. I would say, yeah, that's true. I would say, no, that's not true. I would never, ever, no matter what it is that you think you have on me, that I would shy away from. Like, if I had gotten a DUI, I would have told you. I mean, just as like I have told you many times about how my favorite thing to do before I quit drinking was to get shit-faced and either play Echo the Dolphin on Sega or drive around in my car while drunk. And I had a CB in this car, a CB radio, you know, like trucker, breaker. And there was a public address function on it. You could talk to truckers and then you could slide the thing over. And I installed a bullhorn under the hood of the Chevette so I could talk into the mic, key the mic, and say, hey, fuck you, to randos on the street. It was outstanding. So my college buddy at the time, John Hurt, and I used to harass people all the time about that shit. He changed his last name. I'm not kidding. I'm not going to say his new last name. I might have said that at one point. But he's a dentist now. And so that idiot, I remember, I'm like 19 years old. I go, so you're going to be a dentist? He goes, yeah. I go, well, how the fuck are you going to be Dr. Hurt as a dentist? And he says, well, my dad did it, so it's no problem. I go, it's going to be a problem. He says, no, it's not. It was a problem. So he says to me, EZ, I had to legally change my last name. I go, you did? Because it's Dr. Hurt. He goes, yeah. I go, I told you, you fucking dick. And now, I probably shouldn't say this. No, I should. He is no, I probably shouldn't. Yeah, I should. So, if the Detroit Lions are playing football, and Red Bull Brain Chris says he changed his last name to Payne. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.